everybody, it's Jessica from AYearWithJulia.com, and tonight we're back in the kitchen and we're going to be making suprême de volaille à la milanaise, which actually is chicken breasts rolled in Parmesan and fresh breadcrumbs. Let's get started. We are going to begin with 2 chicken breasts. There's only 2 of us eating, so that's all we need. And I'm going to give it a little hit with some salt and pepper. Just a little dash here and there. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is roll them in a little bit of flour. So I've taken a cup of flour and put it on a plate, and we're just going to roll each chicken breast in the flour, which will help give it a little crust in the end here. And we'll just shake off the extra, set it down on some wax paper, and we'll do the second one. Just a nice little dusting. Doesn't need to be caked on. Looks good. Okay. The next thing we need to do is make sort of a bonding agent that will kind of connect the Parmesan and breadcrumbs to the chicken. So our next step is to make that agent with 1 egg and about 1/2 teaspoon of olive oil and some salt. I am using a kind of shallow bowl. The idea is we're going to be putting the chicken breasts into this container, so we want to be sure there's plenty of space for it to equally cover the chicken. So 1 egg, just a little bit of olive oil, and a little bit of salt. And we're just going to give it a good mix. Okay. So far so good. I also have already prepared our breadcrumbs and Parmesan cheese. I used 1/2 cup of each and just combined them together onto 1 plate. And again, you want it to be something that you can easily lay the whole chicken breast in without having any issues. So we will take our floured chicken, give it a little bath in the egg, shake off the extra, and then we're just going to roll it around in this Parmesan breadcrumb mixture. And already that's sticking really well. And we're going to set it back on our wax paper. And you can take the flat end of a knife and sort of pat that crust down on top, but this looks like it's doing pretty fine on its own, so I'm not going to mess with it. We'll do our second chicken. Into the egg wash, and again, shake off any extra. And back in the breadcrumbs it goes. Perfect. It's looking great. Okay, we're going to let this chicken sit for about 15 minutes to let that Parmesan and breadcrumb mixture really adhere to the chicken. Well, it's been about 15 minutes. Our chicken has been resting and it has a nice Parmesan and breadcrumb crust forming on the outside. I have been heating up some butter because our next step will be to saute the chicken in clarified butter. This part's a little bit tricky for me, but I'll show you. You go ahead and melt your butter, and then what you're going to do is scoop the foam out. And what you're left with is going to be the clarified or clear butter. And that's what we're going to use to actually cook the chicken. Our next step, once we have our clarified butter, is to go ahead and saute the meat in the skillet. And we're going to just let that butter kind of form that crust with the Parmesan and breadcrumbs. And as it crisps up on the outside, we'll flip it over and do the other side. And the idea here, there's not really a set time. We're just going to keep an eye on it. And once the meat kind of springs back, then we know that it's ready. And once the meat is ready, the next final step is going to be to make a butter sauce that we're going to drizzle over the chicken to make it delicious. At this point, our chicken is about ready. You can see it's gotten a really nice crispy crust on the top, and what we're going to do now is take it off the heat and put it on a separate plate for now and just set it aside so that we can focus on making the brown butter sauce. Now there's lots of different kinds of butter sauces you could make. We're going to make a brown butter sauce, and all you do is take butter and we're going to put it back in the same pan, and we're going to again make clarified butter, and then once it's had a chance to get a little bit of a brown color to it, we will take it off the heat, add a splash of lemon juice and a little bit of pepper and salt and a little bit of parsley, and we'll mix it up real good, and then you can just drizzle that over the top of the chicken and you are set to go. We finished our brown butter sauce and I drizzled it over the top of that chicken and it looks perfect. So add a little side of rice and some green beans, and that is quite a good looking dinner if I do say so myself. Feel like chicken tonight? You should give this one a try. It's super easy and I bet it's going to be delicious. This is Jessica from AYearWithJulia.com. See you next time.